What are your thoughts on California's limitations on normal capacity magazines?
It's utterly ridiculous. It's empty symbolism. The people who are committing crimes and shooting people are, by definition, lawbreakers. They're going to murder a human being. They're going to violate the most rigid sanctions of the human experience, and you're going to stop them by passing an ordinance against capacity magazines. It's going to be the first thing that's plea bargained away after they're arrested. It's utterly meaningless, and the classic example of malum prohibitum versus malum in se. Malum prohibitum.
I was going to say, explain the difference between those two.
Malum prohibitum means it's against the law. It's bad because we prohibited it. It's bad because we decided to pass a law against it. Malum in se, if you're taking notes, it's I-N, next word, S-C, S-E, means the thing is evil in and of itself. Murder, robbery, rape. Crimes that have been rigidly punished since the dawn of human civilization. Malum prohibitum, last year you could carry a 16-round magazine if you wanted. This year, 10-round. In New York, when Governor Cuomo first passed his, it was 7 rounds. Utterly arbitrary, 7 rounds. Most modern handguns you can't get a 7-round magazine for. When I had to carry a gun in New York during that period, I carried a 1911 and made sure no magazine in the car would hold an eighth.
That made everybody safer. Everyone felt safer for that, I guess.
Oh, I'm sure.
By the way, going back to the two Latin terms, really, I think an important would you say it's accurate that one is fairly subjective, where the other one is really objective?
You could say so. You could also say it's the difference between morals and ethics. Morals, the root word is probably mores. It's a cultural thing. For many years in this particular society, this has been approved rather than prohibited. And those are fungible and they can change. Malum and se are things that have always been recognized as evil and to be severely punished. Basically, morals are malum prohibitum. They change. The ethics, the root word is probably ethos from the Greek, benchmark values that historically have always been there. For example, let's say in 1950, the Democrat who sat in the White House, Harry Truman, had seduced an impressionable 21-year-old aide and received oral sex from her. If that was discovered, he would have been ridden out of politics on a rail. Less than half a century later, another Democrat president is found doing the exact same thing and doesn't even lose the endorsement from National Association of Women or National Organization of Women. So those things can change.
Yeah.
The prohibitions against violent, serious felonies, what we call heinous felonies against the person, rape, murder, sexual assault, things of that nature. That simply hasn't changed.
And in none of the, there aren't any gun laws that are truly, it's all subjective. It's all, hey, this is bad because we say so. I can't really think of a gun law, something specific to firearms that is, truly, from the beginning of time has been, horrible.
Yeah, I could see possession of a weapon by a convicted felon as an issue. A felon committed of a violent crime, not a malum prohibitum type of crime.
Okay, yeah.
If I had an 8-round magazine during that period under Cuomo in New York, I would have been a felon. And today, anything over 10, out of every 10-round magazine is a separate felony count in the state of New York. And yet you cross the line into Pennsylvania, and it's no problem at all.
And it's no problem at all, yeah.
Now, start looking at, reduce the scope a little bit. Let's say you've got quadruplet brothers. They're all 40 years old. They're all professional men with good families and clean criminal records. One of them lives in New York City, one of them lives in Albany, one of them lives in Connecticut, and one of them lives in Vermont, all bordering states. They've all chosen to carry a concealed handgun to protect themselves and their family. They all get together, go to a ball game or something in New York City, and their Uber gets hit by a truck. They're all knocked unconscious. The ambulance attendants find each of them is carrying a gun. Well, the one in New York City, if he has a New York City carry permit, no problem. They'll say, gee, we hope you're feeling better, and by the way, here's your gun back. The guy from Albany will be arrested for the felony of illegal concealed carry because in the state of New York, New York City is treated separately. And anyone issued a concealed carry permit anywhere else in New York is expressly taught you must not carry in the city. It will not be valid, and permit will be revoked, and that will also be the least of your problems. The guy from upstate New York is very likely going to be found guilty of illegally carrying a weapon. Now, the history of it has been the judges in New York State, for the most part, look, this guy's not a criminal. We'll put the case on file. You won't end up with a felony record, but you'll never have the permit again because it'll be permanently revoked. The guy from Connecticut, even though New York recognized his driver's license and his marriage license, has committed the felony of illegal concealed carry and is going to get a severe minimum mandatory sentence. The guy from Vermont, who had never been required to have a permit before, is going to get the same sentence, even though none of them committed an actual serious crime, a malum prohibitum type of crime. That's the kind of thing for which the law created the terms arbitrary and capricious.
So let me add, I have two questions on that too. We're still talking about normal capacity magazines. One of the things that I hear from the opposition is, hey, if you look statistically, most defensive gun uses, you only use 3 or 4 rounds. So why not cap it at 10? You still have plenty of rounds with 10. In other words, when people do argue for capping normal capacity or capping magazines at 10, what's the argument
let's look
against?
at that. John Hearn, one of our great instructors, said it's not about the odds, it's about the stakes. Hopefully, we're not going to fire a shot at all. Every single study of defensive gun usages, what we call DGUs, by private citizens, and without blood spilled on either side. The predator realizes I am about to die from a sudden and acute failure of the victim selection process, and I'm going to either surrender or most likely run away now. Well, if that were the case, we could all carry fake guns to scare them with. Yeah. What we're looking at here is what none of us wants to have to face, the black swan event, someone trying to rape or murder us or one of our loved ones. People say, well, ooh, why can you shoot an armed robber? So you're shooting him to save the money. Either way, you're killing someone over money. Robbery is not the operative term. Armed robbery is the term, the implicit or actually explicit threat to life or limb. I'm not putting my life in the hands of someone who does that sort of thing, leaving my children's lives in their hands. So you may go a lifetime without needing it. Most of us here have fire insurance on our homes. Most of us are fortunate enough not to have had our house burned down. Those who have, we're damn glad they had the fire insurance. For the rest of us, are we going to say on our deathbed, the damn fire insurance company cheated me. I never had a fire. No, what we were paying for was peace of mind. Peace of mind. And basically that's where most of us armed citizens are right now. So I would answer that question with saying, it's, as John Hearn said, it's not about the odds, it's about the stakes. Now, once the fight is underway, the reason the higher capacity 9mm pistol has become so dominant today among both police and armed citizens is that crime patterns have changed. It's no longer the single carjacker with a knife. We're seeing 3, 4 men at a time bailing out of a van or a minivan pointing guns at the occupants. We're seeing more bad guys wearing body armor than in the time of John Dillinger, and that armor is going to soak up a few bullets before you realize it's time to change my point of aim. If the trend gun today among the gangbangers is a pistol with what they call a stendo, a 25 to 33 round magazine, if we're going to get into a fight, if you were going to get in a boxing match, would you think it was fair that one fighter was limited to 10 punches per round and the other could have 30? It's our colleague Tom Givens, one of our great trainers today, calls it time in the fight. Time in the fight. If you need suppressive fire to hold off an oncoming threat, you want to have that capability. The defensive firearm is an emergency life-saving rescue tool. You have to be able to keep it up and running long enough to save those lives.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. I'm Michael from Gun Owners Radio. If you liked what you saw, please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and make a comment. Help us out. Go to gunownersradio.com. Thanks for watching.